And it looks like we are live. Okay, so we are a go. Thank you to everyone who is joining us live or catching the recording here. I feel so lucky to be joined by Gloria, and who has the wonderful EDS Society Awareness Month in her background, which is so great. And if we haven't met as well, my name is Julie Hirschberg, and I'm a neurologic physical therapist, and very proud to work on a team that really cares very deeply about disorder zebra conditions like EDS. And that's how we got connected to Gloria, actually. So we asked her if she wouldn't mind sharing some of her story on here to provide some education both to clinicians and to maybe people who have EDS or other hypermobility syndromes. So Gloria, thank you again for being here.
Honored to be here.
Yeah, and maybe you can share with people. People always want to know about you, your story, what, about your diagnosis. So share as little or as much as you want, and let people get to know you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Julie, for having me here today. It's a real honor and pleasure to be able to share my own experience. And at the same time, I have learned that I do have a responsibility being diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome to advocate for services or for those who are diagnosed and those who haven't been diagnosed as well. So my name is Gloria, and this has been a very long journey. My life with hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I remember going back to being 5 years old, complaining about aches in my legs and feet and tripping and lack of coordination, having hyperhidrosis on my feet and my hands. I still have it, excessive respiration. So as a child, well, everybody around said, well, she's just a very nervous child, or she's very clumsy. These are growing pains, which very much never disappear. So I think I stopped growing a long time ago.
Yeah.
So about 5 years ago, I did my own research. I'm actually a college professor who just retired last week.
Last week, Gloria. Oh my goodness. Congrats.
I did, and I will continue to, do other type of work, but it was time for me to retire because my health was also being affected by the work that I was doing. So in any ways, it's all positive. And so about 5 years ago, I started researching, why do I have so many diagnoses with my cornea, my retina, even glaucoma, joint pain, ankle surgery, reconstruction of my foot, and also deep hip dislocations, wrist dislocation, how that happens. When I have another sister, I'm originally from Spain, and I come from a large family. My oldest sister has the same symptoms that I do have. She hasn't been diagnosed. So I thought, how is this possible? So I did my own research, and I came across EDS. And I told my husband, and who is a psychologist, and he's like, yeah, I wanted to learn about this too. This is you. Look at all these symptoms. And we learned about the Brighton score.
Yeah.
So we actually did it together, and he said, looks like you're scoring 9 out of 9. It looks like you have it. And I said, well, is what it is. It answers all my questions about why there are so many things that bother me with my body. I have a very interesting body, and people don't know what's going on with me. So then my search for a rheumatologist who will be able to understand this connective tissue disorder began. So the first rheumatologist that I went to, I took my own testing score paper from this, to be tested, which I downloaded from the Ehlers-Danlos Society. They do a wonderful advocacy work. So I read, take it to your doctor. So that's what I did. So I took it the rheumatologist that I found, and he looked like it was the first time he saw that form. And I was trying to explain to him what it was about. So he kind of like, okay, you insist, I'll do it. Looks like, yeah, you do this, you do this. I felt like I was someone going to the circus and trying to show everything. Yeah, it's like, can you do this? Like,
Yeah.
but understand, it's more than that. So, so he didn't even added the score because he didn't know really what to do with that form. So I left with the paper that marked the symptoms, no score, and the signature. And I said, this is not the right professional for me to see. So I need to see a rheumatologist who understands this. So the Ehlers-Danlos Society was able to really help me to find the person. So, but it was through a lot of research, chatting on that website. And I came across Dr. Forbes, who works for Cedars-Sinai, and she's really extraordinary professional. She did test me, and she said, you scored 9 out of 9, even at your age, you are 60. So for familiar with this, that's the max score. Even if you test score lower, it's okay. You might still have it, you know. So something that I don't want to miss saying is when I went to my primary physician to share my experience about, I found something called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I think I have it. So his answer said, I'm flexible too, because I'm flexible doesn't mean that I have Danlos syndrome. And I said, but I do have all the symptoms, and I'm educating myself. And he said, you want a referral? I give you a referral. So that's how things started. And I went to the rheumatologist who didn't know anything about Danlos. So I'm at a good place now because I have a wonderful rheumatologist who actually referred me to do physical therapy with the person she knew was experienced and also an expert working with patients with connective tissue disorders. Having Danlos syndrome, you cannot be really be exposed to a person who doesn't understand how your body works. So I did find a person, and it was wonderful. The physical therapist was wonderful. And then also she referred me for occupational therapy. And the only place she knew closed down. So she didn't know any other place. So that's how I started doing my own research and your clinic. And that was the big, $1 million finding, your clinic, because I looked at the website and said, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, connective tissue disorders. And that's me. I need to go there. And I was highly impressed with the expertise that now, my OT had about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And I realized that was the place for me even to get physical therapy as well. And so when I started the OT, I was about to move out of LA County, and I now am in a different county, so I couldn't continue with more like starting PT there, which I would have loved. But that was a big aha moment to discover that indeed there are resources out there that I wasn't aware. And even my doctor, she's wonderful, she didn't know. And that's something that I can, in terms of advocacy, PTs and OTs, please contact rheumatologists. Let them know that that's what you are actually experts in, working with also patients with connective tissue disorders, because they're so busy and they don't have time to research other resources. Like I spend a lot of time researching, for medical providers and PT/OT clinics. So that's very much my story. That's where I am right now. That can help me to do better as well. So I have some control over certain things.
Which is, and you're such an advocate. I'm just like, I'm hopping on board the Gloria train with you and your advocacy. And your story is very common, I think, like from a young age, symptoms, like you said, 5 years old, right? Until maybe 55 when you were actually diagnosed. Is that right? It was a 50-year journey. that's a very long time. You know, part of, I think, why you care about advocacy and me too is that that should be a shorter time than 50 years for people to get a diagnosis. Um, and you also sought out great resources. Now, I'm curious, um, what led you to look for occupational therapy specifically for this?
Yes, good question. It was the good rheumatologist that I have, Dr. Forbes, who recommended me to do occupational therapy. But the resource that she had, they just recently closed the clinic, and there was no other resource for me available.
Mm.
So then I just did my PT because I was working full time, going to PT, and it's like I cannot fit more into my schedule right now. So once I
Mm-hmm.
then and I learned what exercises I should continue doing for the rest of my life that were helpful. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is. It's just maintenance, maintaining your body.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah.
So I was ready to look for an OT, and that's
Yeah.
how I found, yeah,
You
your.
found us and Naoya, who leads our whole EDS hypermobility program too. So you're right, he is an expert. What were some of the particular things that maybe you were having trouble with or symptoms that you were able to address with Naoya?
I was able to address my joint pain that I will have um, many times coming out of the blue, like just
Mm.
holding a cup. All of a sudden, I feel like I did break something in there. So I
Ah.
had to be more mindful about how to use my hands. So more mindfulness about my movement. But in addition, Naoya taught me how my hands work and what are the movements that will be appropriate for me to do and not getting injured using my
Mm.
hands. Taught me how to use my hands to hold, how to hold the cup, and also different materials that I have now, like a pot holder, pan holder, using both
Okay.
hands to hold the pot. It was just too heavy, and
Yeah.
I to cook, and so that was important, and also computer work. He really gave me great ideas to use stands for my computer, a special keyboard, and braces for my hand, for my
Mm-hmm.
wrist, and um, my thumb, because
Yeah.
I really have trouble with that. And I was doing some household chores at home. Oh, and all of a sudden, my hand, I couldn't move it for like about a month.
Oh,
Anything
wow.
that will be repetitive, that's a trigger for downloads, and I have the consequences of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what happens, that all my joints really will get triggered with also movement that I'm not aware of how I'm moving my hands, because they're very flexible and
Mm-hmm.
they get injured. So really OT helped me to understand how to move, why I move the way I move, and how I can really decrease the pain by eliminating triggers. So
Mm.
even just going to sleep, people who have Danlos syndrome, that's what I read, is like we sleep in the, I mean, doing a lot of contortionism. So,
Mhm.
and will hurt in the middle of the night, but that was something that happened a long time ago and I didn't know why. And it was like,
Oh,
it's just the way I'm positioning my hand. So I just put
yeah.
a very light brace in my hand and no longer have the pain at night.
Oh,
I'm okay. So those are things that I had no idea that I could really help myself with
yeah.
using these braces, and only at night, and I'm okay.
Yeah.
So also even a pen. He taught me about a pen that I bought
Oh,
it really thick.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So it really helps me to do my writing without any pain as well. So this adaptive equipment, I think,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
really helped me. And the most important thing too was, now you introduced me to a braid. It's not a braid, it's called the body braid, and it's an
Oh,
elastic. Uh,
yes. I love the
that,
body braid.
oh, you are okay, okay. So, and I know you are in interdisciplinary teams, so probably that's how, being an OT also knew about it. And he had an example there, and it's like, oh, I can, let me try it. And I remember when I put it on, and it's like, I'm walking straight. I feel taller. I feel, the first thing that I say is, I feel normal. That was the first thing that came to my, I feel normal now. My body feels normal. And I was really touched by my own comment. There's like, oh, did I hear what I just said to myself? My body feels normal. What was in my mind, about my body, the thoughts about my body, my self-image. So there's a lot of also emotional component being involved with those who have EDS.
Right.
So the body braid is been amazing. I bought one with a company that sells them, and it's been a very good investment. However, I see that advocacy needs to be done with insurance companies and doctors to be aware that this equipment really is needed by those who have this condition, and it can get expensive. I cannot imagine people who don't have the resources, maybe they don't speak the language, they don't have financial either, how they're going to be accessing all these services.
Right.
Materials.
Yeah. There's an access issue for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. And the body braid is not cheap. Now, it was designed by a person with EDS, and so I respect that it might be a pricey piece of equipment. A lot of research went in. It's kind of a specialty type brace and wrap, but there's a lot that insurance companies don't cover, and it's frustrating for people. Yeah, but I could see on your face, and now Oya had told me too. He's like, you should ask her about the body braid, because he remembers that so clearly, and that's a common response, is that people feel like, oh, this is what it feels like to have some support and compression around my joints. It feels like normal, whatever that means, right, Gloria?
Yeah, exactly. The two things that I say is, I feel I'm straight now and I'm normal. Those two words, and I thought it was funny that you said that. It's like, what I'm trying to say is, I feel like my body is in harmony, and then I'm walking straight now. Yeah. So yeah. And that was a big aha moment for me, to realize how much I needed it. And the days that I don't wear it, actually, the following day, I can see that my muscle memory remembers the posture, so I tend to braid. So it's not that I'm losing my movement having the braid, which is a braid. So I really like it, because I feel like I'm going to be doing a lot of walking, or whenever I feel like it's important for me to wear it on that day.
Yeah, that's great. And I think one of the other things is, you just had, what, 3 sessions, or how many sessions did you have with now? Oh yeah, it was a short time.
It was a short time because we were moving out of the county. That's the reason. But also, I did recover.
Right.
Significant mobility in my hand. They got stronger. I couldn't believe when he was testing my strength on my different fingers, and the finger grasp and pincer grasp, how weak my hand was. It was like, oh my, I can't believe I don't have the strength on my right hand, and it's my dominant hand, as I do. But I knew I was doing a lot of work with, obviously I'm right-handed, with my right hand. And then after it was session number 4, he did the test again to, he had the baseline. He compared it to the 4th session, and like, yeah, it was way better. I would say, 90% better. And when I saw it,
That's great.
Oh yeah. No, I'm very grateful that I found your clinic. I found Naoya, because he was also so sensitive to how I felt about my body, because there were moments that I felt bad. I was aware that I supposed to do something and I couldn't, and been aware of it, and I became very self-aware. And really, he did support me to, not to focus on that and focus on the exercises that I needed to do to strengthen my fingers and my hand and my wrist. And I did, and he did. So it was teamwork. Without the OT, honestly, I would be still injured with my hand right now. And without his advice, I will be injuring my hand now about how to really hold objects, what to do, what not to do. So, and the body braid was just unbelievable. It was just like a big help for me, and I totally love it. And I don't feel I'm wearing it, I forget that I'm wearing it when I put it on. So it was just like feeling like, felt like a glove, like when I put my orthotics, they're there. I know they're there, and the body braid is there. So just forget about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that says a lot about, we should tell all physicians to refer to OT. I mean, hand, shoulder issues are so prevalent with EDS because we use our hands so much, and it can be, especially, I mean, as a professor, I'm thinking you were writing, you're on the computer, all of your household tasks that any of us do every day, it's all with our hands, right?
Yes, exactly. And also holding my body. There were moments that I was teaching and the students wanted to talk to me, and I stand up when I'm lecturing, or when I used to lecture, and said, I need to sit down. Let me sit down and we'll talk. I just couldn't take the pain in my whole body anymore. It's like, and I was exhausted. I would just like collapse. So again, the awareness that we really need to increase is among really the medical community, to refer, first of all, to identify those patients that really have syndrome. And there are different types of syndrome. So I have the hypermobile one, but they really need to be on top of that and know the resources, and also the PTs, OTs, and POTS specialists to also contact rheumatologists and family primary physicians and educate them about what this means and what therapy, so they can have those referrals ready for the client, the patients when they show up to the clinic. And I want to say thank you for offering the services that you offer at your clinic, because this was neglected for so long, and now it's really more I don't want to say advertisement, but there's more awareness definitely about the need to educate professionals. It was like autism many years ago,
right?
Spectrum disorder, this child. Well, look where we are now, right? So that's, I wanted to add something else, and that actually big aha moment for me this week. And that's what I do know, that I need the PT again. And as a matter of fact, I scheduled PT for next week. I'm going to start the PT in this area now next week. I was trying to learn how to play pickleball, and I know, but we are in I'm playing with people who are way older than I am, and makes me feel better because we're at the same level in terms of show any ages in here, but there are other people who are older than I am, and they are wonderful players. I won't be able to play with them, so I play with the people who are at the same level that I am, right? So, and I was trying to learn the score system, and I couldn't. Everybody got the idea of how to score, how to understand the addition of all the scores, and I couldn't. And then I had a big aha moment, Julie, where I realized that my body was working so hard to coordinate every single movement and also look at where the ball was coming, that I couldn't really process what they were telling me about the score. That was a huge aha moment.
Big.
Yes. So I'm working so hard on, doing a good job, not falling, not tripping, being able to do the game, that I I cannot concentrate on processing whose turn is now. Was my turn? Was your turn? I just lose track of that. And that's something I would like to work with. And I'm learning about, I'm already looking online about what can be done about that. So definitely PT is going to continue for the rest of my life. I already knew that, but now I see a new thing that I need to work with. How I can process information when my body is engaged.
Right. You might need a little extra, you might need the body braid to do some work for you so your brain doesn't have to work so hard, right? You might need
that's
support.
A good idea.
Yeah, that we hear that a lot. It's almost like a brain fog, and people wonder if they're cognitively declining, but they're not. It's just that their brain is on overdrive and like overheating from all the processing of the sensory information from your body, because it's kind of inaccurate because your joints are moving more than another person's are. So yeah, that's where the body braid can be really helpful. And some, working on sensory and proprioceptive work that you might do with PT, it will then improve the feedback so that your brain can be released to do the cognitive aspect and not have to manage the body as much.
I appreciate that feedback so much, Julie. That's important information for me to hear. So you can see anybody listening to this conversation right now, all these aha moments for the patient as well. I wasn't wearing the body braid while playing because I thought maybe it's not good for me when I'm moving so much, or it might be, I don't know. I just don't know, because it was something new, trying to play something that I never played before. Okay, so I will wear it.
I might try it, or or talk to your physical therapist, of course. But a lot of the folks that we see who wear it, we actually recommend it. Like, oh, you're going to do a new activity or a more difficult activity, and you'll see some people in our clinic. They're running in the body braid. They're whacking a tennis racket all around, because it gives that stability. And sometimes when you're learning something new with some movements like paddle ball, your body hasn't done that before, right? So I'm excited for you. Now you're gonna have to tell us how it goes if you try paddleboard with the body braid.
I definitely will give you updates, but as I said, that was a big aha moment for me. To see, like, what's wrong with me? Everybody's getting it and I'm not getting it. And different people explain to me in many different ways and say, I can't process it. I can't. And they were asking me, what is the score? And I was asking somebody else, what's the score?
Yeah, and it's not a cognitive deficit that you have, for sure, Gloria. I can tell. So that's a great story. Thank you for sharing that, because I think a lot of people will relate, and I also think it helps clinicians to hear what's happening for somebody, and how they can support somebody taking on. So you have a new sport in retirement, is that right?
I do. I just do it lightly, and I just don't want to get injured. I just need to be very careful. That I know.
Yeah.
Anything that I start as a hobby in terms of physical movement, I end up getting injured. Years ago, I was doing, and I loved it so much. And a year into Zumba, year and a half, my arch collapsed, and I ended up having surgery. So, and then, this was before I knew I have EDS. Running marathons, I will injure my knee. Anything that I will take as an exercise, there was always something wrong with my body. So yeah, but I should be more aware now. So I'm talking to you that is
You've learned a lot over these years, Gloria. If you have any advice. So I have two more questions for you. So one is, if you were talking to another person who had hypermobile EDS, and they maybe have given up hope that things could get better, that they could be functioning without pain, what what might you share with that person?
Two things. You might have hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, but hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome doesn't have you. You have control over the movements that you need to do in order to enjoy every single activity that you wanted to do in your life. By having a support team that will include professionals who understand what your diagnosis is. And a good way to start is looking into clinics like Julie's clinic, that they are really experts in this. Or if you don't live in the area where they provide the services, they might be able to refer you to some other clinic. But also the Ehlers-Danlos Society is behind me in the screen. You look at their website, you're going to find a lot of resources and also advocacy information links that will help you to understand how you can also advocate for yourself. But honestly, I think that just starting many times just with the PT and OT is the way to do it. When I found Re+active physical therapy clinic, I couldn't believe they already knew the doctors that they could refer me to. I already had a rheumatologist, which I didn't need one, but they already had somebody with POTS POTS expert work with. I just couldn't believe it. It's like, wow, this is what we need, and we need many more clinics like your clinic, and people that understand this. So this syndrome, and I have the background behind me because the month of May is the May that is the month that is about raising awareness for Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and hypermobile syndrome as well. Ehlers-Danlos,
yeah. We'll be talking about it a lot in this month of May. That is great words for people. And the other folks that watch a lot of our videos are other clinicians. And I know you've kind of advocated for them to understand EDS so that they can screen it and get them appropriate treatment. I'm wondering if you have any other words of wisdom for clinicians that might be helping people with EDS.
Yes, I will say make sure that the patient really has the support system of doctors that are going to really help them to go back to health, because this is work in progress always. I always thought, okay, I wanted to do PT and I'm done. No, EDS is going to require ongoing PT. And also for PTs and OTs to advocate for health insurances to increase the number of PT and OT sessions is not enough. This is something that's going to happen for life. So I don't know when I'm going to get injured. And if I finish my PT in 4 weeks, good luck the rest of the year, Gloria. Right. Because that's happening with my foot doctor. She's wonderful. And she said, yeah, if we use this, if anything happens to use the rest of the year. So let's see if this can be taken care of in about 4 weeks of 4 sessions and see what we can do. So we shouldn't be limited. That's not fair for the patient. Is really unfair. And not only that, it's going to create more problems because people will have more accidents and they will need more surgeries than they should have. So again, advocate for also the system, the health system, to increase the number of PTOT sessions and any other services that we need. That is important. I was going to say one more thing, and I guess my brain just forgot about that. Yeah, basically that's what it is. And
no, that's
for letting me be here.
It gets me kind of fired up. Gloria, I don't know if you knew this, but we have started at Re+active a community access clinic. Because we care about advocacy, we train physical therapists and occupational therapists and psychologists in a lot of disorders like EDS, and run sliding scale clinic with those trainees who are actually really well versed in EDS because they're working with us. So that's part of we're growing that. Actually, we're tripling the size of it this year to be able to provide more access to care for people maybe that are underinsured or don't have insurance and don't have financial means, because the cost of therapy ongoing over years can really add up, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. And this is in the United States. I have siblings in Spain, and they're not getting any testing. They will not ever. I can tell you that for now. And I think half of us have it out of 7. Mm-hmm.
It's genetic, so yeah.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
might. Yeah, so we will keep advocating
Yes,
together.
Yes, yeah, I'm bringing the awareness, among the medical community as well.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, patients, they do offer scholarships for those who want to attend conferences that are happening like multiple times a year. Some of them are in person. So it's a very easy application to do online. And again, it is the website, actually, the organization that I have behind me. You just go to them, you're going to see the different scholarships they offer for you to attend virtually to the conferences that they offer, multiple conferences throughout the world.
Yeah,
as well.
and they're great. I mean, we've been to them. I would say for clinicians, they're low cost, high value, evidence-based trainings in EDS. So our whole team has gone to many of their conferences and trainings, and very well done. Very well done.
Absolutely. There's a need for more funding for research services, grants that need to be available for therapies also, because I know it is expensive. Everybody needs to pay salary. So grants will be a big help, I guess, for those offering PTOT and other services to help the community as well. So
we have a lot of work to do, but we're starting it right now. So I just want to thank you so much, Gloria, for sharing your story, your advocacy. I think it will encourage others. We share it with the medical community as well. So I think your story has a ripple effect to change and have a big impact. So thank you for sharing it.
It's a real honor, and thank you so much for allowing me to be here and share my own story as well.
Yeah. All right. We'll stay in touch. I want to hear about your pickleballing. So
yeah. To my brain now when I'm playing, that I know that that's something that I should do. And I'll talk to the PT that I'm gonna go this week to about it. They're also specialized in Dallas syndrome. This is in Orange County where I am right now.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But I will tell you because I might need referrals. They might have referrals. I know. Well, but yeah, we will be in touch.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Okay. Thank you so much, Yuli.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.